Hi guys, this is Underpants. Today I'm going to read the first ever Captain Underpants book called The Adventures of Captain Underpants, published around September 1st, 1997. Can you believe that? Meet George Beard and Harold Fletcher. George is the kid on the left with the tie and the flat top. Harold is the one on the right with the teacher on the bad haircut. Remember that now. George and Harold were best friends. They had lots in common. They lived right next door to each other. They were both in the same fourth grade class at Jerome Boyd's elementary school. George and Harold were usually responsible kids. Whenever anything bad happens, or they were usually responsible. But don't get the wrong idea about these two. George and Harold were actually very nice boys. No matter what everyone else, they were good, sweet and lovable. Okay, maybe they weren't so sweet and lovable, but they were good nonetheless. It's just George and Harold had each a silly streak a mile long. Usually that silly streak was hard to control. Sometimes even got into trouble. And once it got into big trouble. Before I could tell you the backstory, I have to tell you this story. After a hard day of cracking jokes, pulling pranks, and causing mayhem at school, George and Harold liked to rush to the old treehouse in George's backyard. Inside the treehouse were two big old fluffy chairs, a table, a cupboard crammed with junk food, and a padlock crates filled with pencils, pens, and stacks of paper. Now, Harold loved to draw and George loved to make up stories, and together the two boys spent hours and hours writing and drawing their very own comic books. Over the years, they have created hundreds of their own comics books, starting those of their own superheroes. So, first there was Don Man, then came Timmy the Talking Toy, and who could forget the amazing Cow Lady. But all the time, greatest humor that they ever had to make up had to be the amazing Captain Underpants. George came up with it. Most superheroes like they're flying around in the underwear. Well, this guy's flying around in his underwear. The two boys laughed and laughed. Yeah, said Harry. He could fly with Richie Power. George and Harold spent entire afternoons writing and drawing the comic adventures of Captain Underpants. He was the coolest superhero ever. Luckily for the boys, the secretary Jerome Howard's elementary school was too much busy to keep an eye on the copy machine. So whenever they got the chance, George and Harold would sneak into the office and run off several hundred copies of their latest Captain Underpants adventure. After school, they sold their homemade comics on the playground for 50 cents. The Adventures of Captain Underpants, written by George Beard, cartoons by Harold. It was a time for darkness and despair, bright earth, bad guys that take over the streets, and all the superheroes were too old to fight you. Hey, and then along came a new extra strength superhero. Tra-la-la. Look up at the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's an exotic sandwich. No, I am Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants was faster than a speeding westbound, more powerful than boxing shorts, and able to leap tall buildings without getting already. Tra-la-la. Night and day, Captain Underpants watched over the city fighting for truth, just as all that it's pre-shot good custody. Meanwhile, at nearby elementary school, turn the page. It was Stinky Taco Surprise Day at the cafeteria. Yuck! Everybody hated it so much they threw it all away. Soon the cafeteria food came to life. On the inedible hunk! The monster ran around the school eating everything in sight. Help! The inedible hunk just ate 15 folding chairs and the gym teacher. Oh no, not the folding chairs. Those look like a job for Captain Underpants. Captain Underpants shot a lot of underwear at the monster, but it didn't do any good. So Captain Underpants took off running. The Inedible Hulk chased him. Grr! Help! And chased him and chased him. Finally, the Inedible Hulk got too tired and thirsty to chase Captain Underpants. How about a nice drink of water? So the monster took a long drink from a shiny well, when suddenly, whoosh, hooray for Captain Underpants! So the Inedible Hulk got flushed away and was never heard from again. Tra-la-la, the end. It was our next time to Captain Underpants. Do you see that old guy looking up at the window up there? That's Mr. Crump, the principal. Now, Mr. Crump was the meanest, source old principal in the history of Jerome Hoyt's elementary school. He hated laughter and singing, and so do I. He hated the sound of children playing at recess. In fact, he hated children altogether. And guess that which two children Mr. Crump hated most of all? If you guessed what, Harold, you're right. Mr. Crump hated George and Harold. He hated their pranks and their wisecracks. He hated their silly attitudes and their constant giggling. And he especially hated those awful Captain Underpants comics. I'm gonna get those two boys one day, Mr. Crump yelled. One day. Very, very soon. Remember I said that George and Harold's silly streak got into big trouble once? Well, this is the story of how that happened, and how some huge pranks and Little Black now turned as principal as the coolest superhero of all time. It was the day of the big football game between the Hordes, Knuckleheads, and the Stubbornville Stinkbugs. The bleachers were full of fans. The cheerleader ran to the field and shook their pom-poms on the head. Then a flying just drifted over the pom-poms and settled around them. "Give me a cake!" shouted the guys. "Go!" shouted the guys. "Give me a shouted the guys. "Ellen!" repeated the fans. "Give me a achoo!" sneezed the cheerleaders. Achoo! repeated the fans. Achoo! Achoo! The cheerleaders sneezed and sneezed for more. They couldn't stop sneezing. Hey! I shouted up out of the bleachers. "Somebody sprinkle black pepper to the cheerleaders' pom-poms!" "I want you to do that," asked another fan. The cheerleaders stumbled off the field, sneezing, dripping with muskets, as the marching band members took up their places. But when the band began to play, steady streams of bubbles began to blowing out their instruments. Bubbles were everywhere, up and down the field. The marching band slipped and slid, leaving behind a thick trail of wet, bubbly foam. "Hey!" shouted family pictures. "Somebody poured bubble bath into the marching band's instrument." "Oh, you do that?" asked another fan. Soon the football team took the field and the knuckleheads kicked the ball up towards the ball, higher to it. The ball sailed to time to keep right going on until nobody could see it anymore. "Hey!" shouted the fan of the team. "Somebody filmed the game while with helium. I wonder who did that," asked another fan. Oh, but the missing balls didn't take any difference between at the moment. The knuckleheads were running around the field, scratching and itching their corners. "Hey!" Jennifer, "somebody replaced our deep eating muscle rub with lotion. We're planning to start extra scratchy, itchy cream." "Oh, we will do that," shouted the fans in race. A whole lot of people going much the same way, but people shouted, "Hey, what's the monkeys and women? Hey, somebody bring out the girl from John's shirt." Before long, most of the fans and the beaters had caught up on the big game had been fortunate, and everyone in school was miserable. Everyone, that is, except for the two boys crouching in the shadows beneath the beaches. "Those were best friends yet!" laughed Harold. "Yeah, Juggle, no, that's hot, for sure. I hope we wouldn't get busted for this." Harold, "Don't worry," said George. "We will cover our tracks really well. No way we'll get busted." The next day at school, an out began with husband. "George and Harold, please report to Principal Crop's office at once." "Uh-oh," said Harold. "I don't like the sound of that." "Don't worry," said George. "They can prove anything." George and Harold entered the principal's office and down in the chairs before the doors. The two boys had been in the office altogether countless times before, but this time it was different. Mr. Crop was smiling. As long as Jordan had known Mr. Crop, they had never ever seen a smile. Mr. Crop knew something. "I didn't see you boys at the big game yesterday," said Mr. Crop. "Oh no," said George. "We weren't feeling them." "Yeah," Harold stammered nervously. We were home." "Oh, that's too bad," Mr. Crop said. "You boys are good kid." George and Harold quickly glanced at each other and gulped and tried not to look guilty. "Luckily for you, I have a videotape to show the whole thing," Mr. Crop said. He turned on the television on the corner and pressed the play button on the VCR. A black and white image appeared on the TV screen. It was an overhead shot of George and Harold sprinkling pepper on the cheerleaders' pom-poms. Then came a shot of George and Harold pouring liquid bubble bath into the marching band's instruments. "How do you like a pre-game show?" asked Mr. Crow at the double screen. George had eyed the television screen with terror. He couldn't answer. Harold's eyes were glued onto the floor. He couldn't look at the tape and went on, revealing all of George and Harold's behind-the-scenes antics. By now, both of the boys were lying on the floor, squirming nervously. Dripping Mr. Cluck turned off the TV. "You know," he said, "ever since you boys came to school, it's been one prank after another. First, you dislike the frogs, the Joe salad, and the birds teacher backward. Then you made it snow in the cafeteria. Then you raid all the intercoms so they play read all Dankovic songs full blast for 6 hours straight. For 4 long years, you two have been running amok in the school, and I've never been able to prove anything until now." Mr. Crump held the videotape in his hands. "I told you everything, installing tiny video surveillance cameras all around school. I knew I'd catch you until that one day. I didn't know it was so easy." Mr. Crump sat back in his chair and chuckled to himself for a long, long time. Finally, got the courage to speak. "What are you going to do with that tape?" he asked. "I thought you never asked Mr. Crump. "I thought long and hard it was safe," Mr. Crump said. I thought I'll send these copies to your parents." The boys swallowed hard and sank deeply into their chairs. "Then I thought I must send a copy to the school board," Mr. Crump continued. I could get you both expelled for this. The boys swallowed harder than the temperatures. Finally, I made a decision, Mr. I think the football team were very curious to find out who was responsible for yesterday's fiasco. I don't think I'll set a copy for them. Jordan leaned onto their chairs and to their knees. No, cried Jordan. You can do that. They'll kill us. Yeah, but they'll kill us every day for the rest of our lives. Mr. Crop laughed and laughed. Please have mercy, the boy. Well, do anything. Anything? Asked Mr. Crop with delight. He reached into his desk with pulled out a list of demands and tossed it to the boys. If you don't want to be dead as long as you live, you follow these rules exactly. George looked carefully at this. This is a blackmail, said George. Did you call it what you like? Mr. Crook snapped. But if you don't follow this list exactly, then the dog will blow the profit of the whole number. At 6 o'clock the next morning, George and Hope threw themselves out of bed, walked over to Mr. Crump's house and washed his car. Then, while Harold scrubbed the tires, George roamed around the yard, cleaning all the weeds and crabgrass he could find. Afterward, they cleaned the gutters and washed all the windows on Mr. Crump's house. At school, George Harold sat up straight, listened carefully, and spoke only when spoken to. They didn't tell jokes. They didn't call by David smile. Well, the teacher kept pushing us up. I know this is a dream, she said. At lunch, the two boys vacuumed Mr. Krupp's office, shined his shoes, and polished his desktop. At recess, they clipped his fingernails and ironed his tie. Each spare moment, the boys' daily schedule was spent catering to Mr. Krupp's every whim. After school, George had mowed Mr. Krupp's lawn, tended his garden, and began painting the front of the hut. At the sunset, Mr. Krupp came outside and handed each boy a stack of books. Gentlemen, he said, I asked your teachers to give you both extra homework. Now go home and study hard, and I'll see you back here at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We got a busy day ahead of us. Thank you, sir, moaned the two boys. George and I walked home dead tired. Man, this was the worst day of my entire life, said George. Don't worry, said Hill. We only have to do this for 8 more years. Then we can move away far enough where they'll never find us. Maybe in Cyclone. I've got a better idea, said George. He took out a piece of paper out of his pocket and handed it to Harold. It was an old magazine for the 3D hypno. How this is gonna help us? Asked Harold. All we got to do is hypnotize Mr. Crow. We'll make him give us the go with it and never forgot this mess ever happened. That's a great idea, said Harold. Now the best of it, we have to wait for 4 to 6 weeks delivery. After 4 to 6 weeks of break back and save their grueling homework, assignments, and humility and good behavior at school, a package arrived with George's mailbox from the Little Wild Wire Novelty Company. It was the 3D Hypno Ring. Hi, cried George. It's the best thing I ever hoped for. Let me see, said Harold. Don't dare look at it, one George. You want to get hypnotized, do you? Do you really think it'll work? Asked Harold. Do you really think we can amaze our friends, control our enemies, and take over the world like said? It better work, or else we'll just waste $4. The next morning, George and Harold did arrive early at Mr. Crum's house to wash a car and wrestling his roof. In fact, they were even a little late getting to school. When they finally showed up, Mr. Crump was standing in front of the door waiting. And boy, he was mad. Mr. Crump escorted the boys into his office and standing there. All right, what were you doing this morning? We wanted to come over to your house to do it, but we are busy trying to figure out the secret of this ring. What ring? Snapped Mr. Crump. George held his hand and shouldered the ring to the principal Crump. It's one of those weird patterns on it, said Harold. If you stare at it as long as enough, a picture appears. Wait, hold it still, snarled Mr. Crump. I can see the thing. Or this will move it back and forth, or it will really work. Mr. Crump, I followed the ring back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. You have the ring is stirred and said Harold, deeper, deeper, deeper. You are getting sleepy, said George. Very sleepy. Mr. Crump's eyelid behind. I'm so sleepy, he mumbled. After a few minutes, Mr. Crump's eyes were closed and snoring. We're under a spell, said George. When I smile with you'll obey every command. I will obey, mumbled Mr. Crump. All right, said George. You still got that videotape of me and Harold? Yes, mumbled Mr. Crump. We're heading over it, Bob, George instructed. Mr. Crump unlocked a large file cabinet and opened the bottom drawer. He reached and handed George the videotape. George stuffed it into his backpack. Harold took a different video out of his backpack and put it in the file cabinet. What's that video? That's what. It's one of those little sister, but also book over the purple dragon singing along for its videos. Nice touch, said George. When Harold went down to close the file cabinet, he took a quick look and said, "Whoa!" He cried, "Look at all the stuff in here." The file cabinet was filled with everything Mr. Crope had taken away from the boys over the years. There were slingshots, whoopee cushions, skateboards, fake doggy doodle, you name it. It was in there. "Look at this!" cried George. "A big stack of Captain Underpants comics. He got every issue," said Harold. For hours, the two boys sat on the floor laughing and reading comics. Finally, George looked up at the clock. "Yikes!" He said, "It's almost lunchtime. We better clean up this mess and get to class." The boys looked up at the principal, who had been standing behind them in the trance all morning. "Gee, I almost forgot about Mr. Crumb," said Harold. "What should we do about him?" "You want to have some fun?" asked George. "Why not?" said Harold. "I had any fun in the last 4 to 6 weeks of school," said George. He walked Mr. Crumb and snapped his fingers. "You are a chicken!" he said. Suddenly, Mr. Crump leaned on his desk and flapped his arms. "Cluck, cluck, 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 cluck!" He clicked his papers off the desk behind him and picking out the pencil and doing it all with laughter. Let me try. Said, "You're a monkey." "You better snap your fingers," said George. "Oh, yeah," said Harold. "You are a monkey!" Suddenly, Mr. Crump sparkled, swinging the forces of life. He shrieked, leaping the one side of the room to the other. George and Harold laughed so hard they almost cried. My turn," said George. "Let's see, what we else determine that?" "I know," said Harold, holding up a can of comics. "Let's start with the Captain Underpants. Good idea," said George. "You are now the greatest superhero of all time, the amazing Captain Underpants." Mr. Crumb turned on the red collar of his window entire runs in. Then he took all the shoes and socks, shirt, pants, and his awful toupee. "Tra-la-la!" he said. Mr. Crumb stood before them, looking quite cheerful with his cape blowing in the breeze over the window. George and Harold were dumbfounded. "You know," said George, "you kind of look like Captain Underpants." "Yeah," Harold replied. After a short time, the two boys looked at each other and burst into laughter. George and Harold had never laughed so hard in their lives. Tears ran down their faces as they rolled about the floor, shrieking in hysterics. After a while, George pulled himself up from the floor for another look. "Hey!" George cried. "Where did he go?" George held dashed to the window and looked out. Suddenly, across the parking lot, a pudgy old guy in his underwear with a red cape flowing behind them. "Mr. Crumb, come back!" shouted Harold. "He won't answer that," said George. "He thinks he's Captain Underpants now." "Oh no!" said Harold. "He's probably running off to fight crime," said George. "Oh no!" said Harold. "We gotta stop him," said George. "Oh no!" said Harold. "No way!" "Look," said George. "He could get killed out there." Harold was unmoved. "Or worse," said George, "he could get into big trouble." "You're right," said Harold. "We got to go after him." The two boys opened up the file cabinet drawer and took out their slingshots and skateboards. "Do you think we should bring anything else?" asked Harold. "Yeah," said George. "Let's bring the fake doggy doodoo." "Good thinking," said Harold. "You just never know when a fake doggy doodoo is going to come in handy." Harold stuffed Mr. Crumb's clothes, shoes, and toupee in his backpack. Then the two boys leaned on the window and slid this flagpole and took off their skateboards after the amazing Captain Underpants. George and Harold rode the skateboards all over town looking for Captain Underpants. "I can't find him anywhere," said Harold. "You think a guy like him would be easy to spot," said George. The boys turned around the corner, and there he was. Captain Underpants was standing from a bank looking quite alert. "Mr. Crumps!" cried Harry. "Shh!" said George. "Don't call him that. Call him Captain Underpants." "Oh, yes," said Harold. "And don't forget to snap your fingers," said George. But before he got inside, the bank flew wide open and stepped to the robbers. The robbers took one look at Captain Underpants and stopped dead in their tracks. "Surrender!" cried Harold. "We'll have to resort you to wrenching power." "Oh, no!" whispered Harold and George. Nobody moved for about 10 seconds. Finally, the robbers looked at each other, burst out laughing, and dropped their loot on the sidewalk, screaming in hysterics. Almost immediately, the cops showed up to arrest the crooks. "That will be a lesson to you," cried Captain Roberts. "Never underestimate the power of underwear." The police chief looked quite angry. Marshal the Captain Roberts. "Who are you supposed to be?" the police chief demanded. "Why, I'm Captain Underpants, the world's greatest superhero," said Captain Roberts. I fight for truth, justice, and all that spray shrunken continuity. Oh yeah, shouts the Pixie. Cover boys. One of the cards took on his handcuffs and grabbed Captain Underpants by the arm. Uh-oh, cried Jordan. We gotta go. Together the boys zoomed into the crowd, weaving an other caught by the bystanders. Harold skated up to Captain Underpants and knocked the superhero off his field. George caught him and the boys skated away with Captain Underpants on the shell. Stop! Cried God, but it was too late. George, Harold, and Captain Underpants were gone. After a quick escape, George and Harold and Captain Underpants stopped at the deserts and street corner to catch Underpants. Okay, so let's dehypnotize the crib before something else happens. A huge explosion came from the rare crystal shop across the street. Heavy smoke poured around the building. Suddenly, two robots with one stolen crystal emerged from the smoke and jumped into the old cab. Did I just see two robots get into a van? As Harold, you know, said it. Up to this now, the story is almost unbelievable. Well, believe it or not, said Harold, we're not getting involved. I repeat, we're not getting involved. Just a cat of its lead from the street corner and dash into the van. Stop in the name of underwear, he cried. Uh-oh, said Ron. I think we're involved. The two robots started up in the van and swirled around Captain Roberts. Unfortunately, the van rushed up against his red pair and got caught. With the mighty Captain Roberts flipped backward and the van pulled him around and drove away. Grab him! Cried George. The two boys skateboarded all night and speeding the van grabbed Captain Roberts by ankles. Help! They cried as the van pulled them through the scissors. Mommy, said the little voice to the bench. I just saw a two boys driving a van with a guy on his underwear hanging on the back of a tree. Only two boys on skateboards behind him in this field. How do you expect me to believe such a ridiculous story? Asked his mother. Finally, the van came to a screeching halt in front of a abandoned warehouse. The sun thought made Captain Roberts flip over the roof and the crash through the front door of the building. Well, said Rainbows and Zalagos. Looks like we have a visitor. George held hid behind the van until the coast was clear. Then they sneaked up into the hole in the door and peeked inside. Captain Underpants was all tied up. The two robots were standing at the guards, and the strange man wearing a diaper was laughing maniacally. I am the evil Dr. Diaper, said the swear man and told the captains. Only you will be the first to witness my takeover of the world. Dr. Diaper placed the stolen crystal into the large machine called the Laser Magic 2000. The machine started to light up and make loud noises. The heavy gears began shifting and spinning, and the laser from the big crystal shoot out right up a hole into the roof. In exactly 20 minutes, this laser would beam up will blow up the moon and spread huge chunks of the crushing up on every major city in the world, thought the diaper. Then I'll rise it from the rubble and take over the planet. Only one thing can help us now, said George. What? A rubber or doggy doodle, said George. Harold took the flaggy doggy doodle a slingshot from George's backpack and handed it to him. Be careful, sir. The fatal the entire world is house. With the careful, precise aim, George had shot the drum and doodle through the air and buzzed at him with a plop right at the feet of Dr. Darren. Yes! Whimpered George Harold. The doctor diaper looked down at the doodle between his feet and turned my right. Oh, dear me, I cried. I am dreadfully embarrassed. Excuse me. Then he began to wander across the rest of the road. This had never happened to me before. I assure you, said. I was, well, excited. Oh dear. While Dr. Knight was changing himself, George Harold sneaked into the old warehouse. Immediately, the robots ditched the boys between them, marching them towards him. Destroy the intruders! Harold, destroy the intruders! George Harold was screaming around into the warehouse. Luckily, the two boys found the old boys to give him the Harold. We're going to have the show result extremely gratified, are we? Harold, oh, sure, not sir. Robot Rampage! George saves Harold. Harold returns the favor. And finally melts nuts and bolts. After defeating the robots, George and Harold untied Captain Underpants. Come on, cried Henry. Let's get out of here. Wait, said Captain Underpants. We have to save the world first. So George, Harold, and Captain Underpants frantically looked all over the laser magic 2000, searching for a way to shut it down and stop the inevitable disaster. Said Harold. I think it might be the lever we want. He pulled out the self-destruct lever in all his might. Suddenly the laser magic 2000 started to shake. The huge laser beam turned off, and the piece of the machine began flying out all around. It's gonna blow! Cried out. Run for your lives! Not so fast! Screamed Dr. Diaper, who has appeared out of nowhere. You've demolished my robots. You destroyed my and now you've ruined my chance to take over the world. But you won't able to tell the tale. Dr. Diaper pulled his Diapermatic 2000 ray gun and pointed at George Harold and Captain Underpants. Gentlemen, quickly stretched a pair of underwear and shot right on the evil doctor's head. Help! Harder! I will tell you! I can see! Jordan Hale ran out of the warehouse and the man goes, Great shot, Captain! On the press There's just one thing I don't understand, said Red. Where'd you get that extra pair of underwear? What extra pair of clothes? Captain Underpants wearing a pantaloon. Never mind that, cried Red. Let's get over before the laser-matic thing explodes! The laser-matic blue 2000 blew up, tearing apart the whole warehouse. It sent flaming shards of red-hot metal in every direction. Fire fell of the skies around the heroes, and the earth began to crumble beneath their weight. Oh no! Cried out, we're doomed. To make a long story short, they got away. George Harold and Captain Underpants made a quick stop outside the police station. They tied Doctor with a lamppost and attached a window to him. There, etc. That ought to explain everything. Then George and Harold led Captain Underpants back to George Harold's elementary school. Why are we going here? Asked Captain Underpants. Well, said Harold, you have to do some undercover work here. Yeah. Reaching his back, put some clothes on and make it separate. And don't forget your hairset, George. Captain Underpants quickly got dressed behind him. Well, how do I look? He asked. Pretty good. George, I'm trying to look very mad. Captain made the laziest face he could. You know, said George, he kind of looks like Mr. Crump. Harold, it is Mr. Crump. Oh, yes, Harold said, I almost forgot. Before long, they were all back inside Mr. Crump's office. Okay, Captain Underpants said George, you are now Mr. Crump. Snap your fingers, whispered Harold. Oh, yeah, George said George. You are now Mr. Crump. Who's Mr. Crump? Asked Underpants. Oh, no, cried out. It's not working. The boys tried again and again today, hypnotized Underpants, without thinking the same word. Let me see this instructed by over that ring. George checked his patchworks. George, I think I lost it. You what? The two boys searched for the office, but the instructions manual was nowhere to be found. Never mind, said George. I have an idea. He removed the flowers from a large vase in the corner. Then he poured all the water of the captain on and said, What do you do that for? Cried Harold. I saw him in the distance in the car. It once, said George. It's got to work. After a few minutes, Mr. Crump slowly came to, what's going on here? He better, why am I all wet? George Hale had never seen Mr. Crump as, I'm so happy I could cry, said Harold. Well, you're gonna cry when I get that video tape for the football team, shouted Mr. Crump. I had to win you two. Mr. Crump took the video tape out of the fight copy. You boys are dead meat, he sneered. He stormed out of his office, the video headed toward the gym. George Hale smiled. Wait till the football team sees that video, said George. Yeah, said George. They're like singing Purple Dragons. Hey, look, said George. I found the hypno ring instruction manual. It was in my shirt pocket, not my pants pocket. Well, I must have throw that away. So I hope you'll never need it again. I hope you're not, said George. The end? Things at Jordan Elementary School were never quite the same with the faculty. The football team enjoyed Mr. Crump's video so much that they changed their name from the Knuckleheads to the Purple Dragon Single Threads. The name change did not go over well to the fans. Was who's gonna argue with a fan of a bunch of linebackers? George Hill went back the old ways, putting pranks and cracking jokes and making combos. They had to keep an eye on Mr. Crump though, because for some strange reason, every time they heard the sound of snapping fingers, Mr. Crump turned back into you know who. Oh no! Cried George. Here we go again, said George. Tra-la-la! Well, that's the end of the Adventures of Captain Underpants. I did not split it apart because this is actually the shortest Captain Underpants adventure, since it being like 125 pages long, I guess. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this, and please subscribe to the channel and press the like button if you want me to make more videos.